At this time, let's start with roll call.
Councilmember Kaiser. Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Budashevsky. And Councilmember Deschler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Thank you. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Some of the sheets look different.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have an agenda in front of us. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Olga?
I make a motion to approve the
Thank
agenda.
you. Julie?
I'll second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We have a consent agenda. I will read that into the record at this time. Approval for the minutes from the following meetings: the City Council meeting from February 19th, 2019, and the work session from that same day, and a work session from February 26th, and approval of license applications submitted by the city clerk that is in her office on file. That's it for the consent agenda. Brendan?
A motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Nancy?
I'll second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Do we have anyone here for open forum? Nobody here for open forum? All right. We will skip by that and move right on to the regular agenda. First item, as always, is the disbursements of $25,000 or greater. I'll read those into the record. First is for Met Council March 2019 wastewater service costs, $130,159. Logis Computer Services for October, November support in 2018. That amount is $62,770. Crystal Leased Housing Association for the Kavanaugh TIF note principal and interest for $120,140.78. West Metro Fire Rescue District for the February fire budget allocation of $100,522. Total disbursements, $413,593.30. Looking for questions on any of these items. Nancy?
Just a point of curiosity about the Kavanaugh TIF note. How many years is that? Is that a 10-year, 20-year?
Councilmember, we are paying it off early because it carries a 5% interest rate, and the other TIF, we did not create a TIF district for the Kavanaugh. We're using available increment generated by another housing TIF district, and that district has enough available increment that we're able to accelerate the repayment and reduce our interest costs.
Fantastic.
So we're instead of a 10-year term, we'll probably have it paid off after about 7 years.
Excellent. Thank you.
So actually calling it the Kavanaugh TIF is not real accurate. Is that correct?
Well, that's the name, Mayor, that's the name of the note. It's just the name of it, but it is not being repaid from anything generated at the Kavanaugh. The taxes from the Kavanaugh are 100% going to the normal taxing jurisdiction.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right.
Question.
Go ahead, Brendan.
You probably don't know this. Do we know how much we're saving by paying off early?
I apologize. I don't know off the top of my head what that is, but well, at 5% interest, it's worth prepaying because we're getting less than that on the we get less than that in interest on the fund balance in that TIF fund. So it makes financial sense. Whatever that spread is between 5% and roughly maybe 2.5% we get on our savings.
Sure.
Great.
Just know that's going towards the goals of what the council has been doing as far as paying off things early, as far as setting up early future revenue.
That's correct, Councilmember. We made a staff decision to pay this off early because certainly that is the direction we've had from council, and anytime we can reduce our interest obligations and our long-term obligations, it seems like a good thing to do.
Thank you.
Agreed.
For us.
All right. Any other questions? Go ahead, Nancy.
Well, I'll make a motion, if there are no questions, I'll make a motion to approve the list of disbursements over $25,000.
All right, thank you. Brendan?
I second that motion.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Why do Next item is the council will consider a resolution approving the petition and agreement for special assessment financing for fire protection system at 6105. John is here to talk to us on that. Welcome, John, again.
Thank you again, Mayor, council members. You may have seen the story on CCX News today in the 4 o'clock newscast about the theater Elysian. The facility is actually going to be named the Elysian Playhouse in the former Mill End Fabrics Building at 6105 42nd Avenue. They are completely remodeling that building. They've already started on the construction work, and they're remodeling it into, I believe it's a 119-seat theater. I may have that number, it may be a little more than that, but in any event, it's for a live playhouse-type theater. And then there's some other spaces, and I'll show the floor plan in a moment. But due to the change in use, state fire and building codes require that the building have a fire sprinkler system installed. And state law also allows cities to use the special assessment process to finance this type of system if requested by the property owner. And the property owner has submitted a petition requesting special assessment financing. So the property, again, is the former Mill End building at the southwest corner of Brunswick and 42nd. And north in this floor plan is to the left. And so 42nd Avenue is kind of off this side of the building. Brunswick is up here where it says Theater Elysian Playhouse. So the parking lot is down here in this area. So the actual theater area is here. The back of the house, backstage area is here. There's a large lobby which also can be used as kind of a flex space. So if they wanted to have like a pre-play gathering of some kind, the lobby could be used for that, and some rehearsal rooms and so on. So they are doing complete renovation of the building, and when we adopted this financing program, or a new version of it, I should say, about a year ago, we did have some specific public purpose reasons for providing this financing. And I won't go through all these bullet points, but I just want to show this to the public that the council did give some thought to why would the city be providing this financing in the first place. And there clearly is a public purpose to doing so. So what are the parameters of this financing? Well, the maximum amount to be financed is $100,000. Now we expect that the cost of the fire sprinkler system and the biggest part will actually be a new water connection from Colorado Avenue. That'll be about 2/3 of it. That those two together will exceed the $100,000 cap. We will only finance up to $100,000. The rest of it will have to be financed in some way by the property owner. This $100,000 or less, if costs come in lower than thought, will be paid back to the city as a special assessment against the property. It's a 5-year payback term, so 10 semi-annual payments, just like at the same time when the regular property taxes are paid. It carries no interest charge. The owner will receive reimbursement from the city after the sprinkler system is complete and operational, and then the repayment from the owner to the city starts in 2020. So it starts the next year. We are using the EDA fund balance to finance this, to carry this cost. So, of course, as those special assessment repayments are made, those payments go back into the EDA fund. So the council action requested tonight is that you adopt the resolution approving the petition and agreement. The timeline, they've already begun work on the building. They would begin work on the sprinkler system as soon as possible after your approval of the financing. And in May, when hopefully frost goes out of the ground and there's no snow, they can begin work on the water connection from Colorado Avenue to the building, and they expect to open the playhouse around the middle of June. Well, that concludes my report. I know Beth Pfeiffer, representing the theater, is here, and I'd be happy to answer any questions as well.
All right, are there any questions for John? Nancy?
Just, I was just curious, I'm sorry I didn't look it up before the meeting, but how is our EDA fund balance? I know there's plenty in there, and I know we're using it for other projects, but healthy fund, right?
Yeah, well, with the contribution to the Becker Park project, the fund balance will drop by about 1.2 million. So it will be down to about 1.9 million.
Okay.
So the 100,000, it will reduce it, but it does not, there's no danger of the EDA fund balance
Right.
being
That's what I
drained.
thought. Perfect. And how is it, the theater pronounced Elysian? Oh,
Beth, would you?
I will actually ask
Beth,
Beth,
why don't you-
because
Beth,
I've been taking a guess.
I'm so
but she would
excited for
know.
this project, so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council people. It's pronounced Theater Elysian,
Elysian.
and Elysian Playhouse. And if you want, do you want me to just say a few words, or do you want to
Please.
let John keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I know you haven't voted yet, but we hope that you'll vote in favor of this. The Elysian Playhouse is going to be the home to Theater Elysian. They're a small acting company, 120-seat theater. They personally produce about 6 shows a year, which run 12 performances each. But in addition to being the home of Theater Elysian, really we're hoping that Elysian Playhouse becomes an opportunity for the community to gather and extend the arts and artist impact in this community. So some of the things that will be possible at the space are music lessons, performance camps, after-school classes, rental and opportunity for art space for youth and for adults. So really beyond just the impact of the theater company themselves, we're excited to be part of Crystal and to expand our impact here in this community.
Thank you, Beth. Any other questions for Beth or John?
I just had a quick one, Beth. Did you mention that you would be able to rent space if there were
Yes.
events and things? That's
Yes.
great.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's an ideal setup.
Brendan?
So recently, one of the community members had brought up something of wanting to do like a community play type thing. Is that something that this would be available for as well?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and so Cindy Pollock is the owner of the theater, and I'll give you since this is live to the public, the website is ElysianProductions.com. And so you can follow along there with the progress of construction, and also if you have questions or are interested in learning more about how you can use the space. As Mr. Sutter mentioned, we will be opening, our goal is June. It depends on the weather, and that connection to Colorado is really the kind of final determination of the opening date. But the first production is scheduled there for July. So the plan is to be open in June.
Very nice. So I think some of us up here have some other ideas as well. You know, I know we haven't voted yet, but
Yeah.
moving forward, we have a new park that's being developed to handle performances. So there is going to be that opportunity to actually have community-type performances there. And I'm really hoping that you guys will be a part of that. Also, we have our Frolics community event there, which will be a brand-new event in 2020. It's after it's been constructed. So when we go through the planning for that, I want you guys to kind of pay attention, or maybe we'll reach out to you
Yes,
specifically.
please do.
Because this is an empty palette that we're going to have to write in the next year, so that Frolics will be what we want it to be as a community. So I look forward to that.
Great.
So,
We-
all
we
right,
would
I
look forward
suppose
to
we
it.
should get to a vote here, unless there's any specific questions. Brendan,
No questions. I was
Go ahead.
ready to make a motion.
go for it.
Sorry, I'm excited about this spot, especially right here in Ward 2. But I make a motion to approve the resolution of the petition.
All right, Nancy?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Congrats.
So just kind of a heads up for the council members, we were going to have a work session in relationship to some of our fire code. This is first, it's the first one that I know of since I've been here that has taken a vacant building and taken the money and invested it in there to actually conform with the fire code. The rest of them have not gone through because of the cost. So this is very positive that we went ahead and did that last year, but we still have to have the conversation about what some of the other vacant buildings look like, and we'll have that coming this year. So as we plan, we'll look forward to that conversation.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much.
So thank you and welcome to Crystal.
Looking forward to it.
All right, next we will consider a resolution declaring Lot 1 of the J-Flow subdivision. John, could you tell us about that?
Sure. Thank you again, Mayor, council members. Background on this, New Hope is selling an 8-acre development site to SVK Development. Their site is located on the north side of the Canadian Pacific Railway, west of Louisiana Avenue, which in that area is the municipal boundary, basically. They are replatting their site into 32 lots. That's the blue parcel. They expect to start construction as soon as possible. Another example of waiting for the spring that never seems to come, but once it does come and the frost goes out, they're going to start moving dirt and putting in infrastructure. As long as the New Hope Council approves the development, which is anticipated later this month. And they will ultimately have 32 homes on that blue parcel. They are proposing to extend Louisiana Avenue south from its dead end right here, and it would bend it west, and then it would turn back north to this dead end of Pennsylvania Avenue. And again, there would be 32 single-family homes built in there. They expect that they would have the first model homes completed this summer, and the full build-out of that development will take 2 to 3 years, depending on market conditions. Now, directly east of the site in Crystal is a subdivision called the J-Flow subdivision, and in that there are 5 lots, 1 through 5, that are owned by the city and used for Iron Horse Park. However, they are not restricted to park use. So I'm going to skip ahead to this aerial. This shows the lots 1 through 5 of J-Flow subdivision and some adjacent platted easements or rights-of-way. And that is property currently used for Iron Horse Park. Now you can see here on the west end, this is that dead end of Louisiana Avenue where the new street for the New Hope development will be extended south. And right about here it will turn west and continue further into New Hope. That means that this west end of the park is suddenly going to be accessible. So what you're here to consider tonight is whether to declare that westernmost lot, so lot 1 of lots 1 through 5 of J-Flow subdivision, to be surplus property and approve the replatting of all 5 of those lots with 3 lots for new single-family homes with access from that new street, and then lots 2 through 5 of J-Flow subdivision would remain as parkland, and they would actually be dedicated on the plat as parkland. Again, that's not currently the case. Currently, there's no dedication or deed restriction that requires them to be used for park purposes. So that would be, those other 4 lots would now be dedicated in the plat as parkland. So this is the existing plat of J-Flow subdivision. Again, lot 1 at the western end is the one where the potential development is for your consideration tonight. As part of this, we would need to vacate some unneeded rights-of-way or easements. The southerly 16 feet of the 40-foot wide Sioux Line Place right-of-way would be vacated, and that would accrue to the J-Flow subdivision lots. And also the part of Louisiana Avenue south of the point where this street is going to turn west and head into New Hope. That would also be vacated. Once that happens, then this is what the proposed plat would look like. This is what's left of the Louisiana Avenue right-of-way. Again, the street would be extended and then turn west right about here. These would be the 3 new home lots, and then this large parcel here would now be a park parcel on the plat, dedicated as parkland. And this is I know it's kind of a crude hand sketch, but you got to start somewhere, and we're not at a point yet of actually having the surveyor draw this all up. But this is a rough sketch of what the setback lines would be. In yellow would be the new drainage and utility easements that would be on the plat. The reason this one over here in what would be the vacated Louisiana Avenue right-of-way is so wide at 25 feet is because if you see this dashed gray line running north-south through here, that's a water main, a crystal water main. And it's deep enough that we need to make sure that if we need to dig down and get to that, that we have the easement to do so. And that's why there's a 25-foot easement here instead of the more typical 5 or 10-foot easement. So this is a rough preview if you were to adopt the resolution tonight declaring that westernmost lot of J-Flow subdivision to be surplus and giving us the go-ahead to start the replatting process. This is a preview of what that plat would look like. And this stuff over here is a detailed utility plan from the New Hope Windsor Ridge development is the name of it, by the way. And again, you can see the new street making that turn, and right up here is where it would tie into the existing dead end of Louisiana Avenue. So before I move on, are there any questions on what I've covered so far?
Julie?
I have one.
What?
Oh, when you're done, I have one.
Oh, did the Park and Recs Department see these plans, and are they comfortable with them?
Yes, in fact, one of the things that was done at their request, we weren't originally going to replat this as park. There was no reason to. The city was still going to own these other 4 parcels and just keep using them as park. But the park commissioners felt very strongly that if the city is going to sell off this westernmost part for development adjacent to the New Hope development, they wanted something that would guarantee is too strong of a word because the council could always theoretically undo this anyway, but it would be a much more difficult process, kind of a legal process you have to go through to do that. And so in this case, we made this change at the request of the Park Commission so that these 4 parcels would be dedicated as parkland on this new plat. With that, they did vote 5-1 to recommend that you proceed with this, subject to this change that I just described.
And then just one more. So then the money that we will capture from selling these lots, and I know that that'll go into the park fund, if you will. Will it be used for all the parks, or will the money be primarily targeted towards making improvements at this particular park? I kind of read that looks like there's going to be a meeting for the neighborhood, and they can kind of...
So that's a very good question, and I think for our parks last year, there were some trails and other improvements that were made, but I mean the Parks Fund is in such need of capital that we didn't spell out that this money goes to this park and so on. Iron Horse is unique. Both the staff level and the the park commissioners all felt that this park needs some attention. And we don't have anything in our 5-year capital improvements program to make improvements at this park. It's kind of tapped out with other projects. And it would be nice to do something sooner rather than later for Iron Horse. So the idea here is with the funds raised, maybe not all these improvements shown on this rough concept sketch, but some of them, mainly the trail, perhaps the picnic shelter, which this park really could use. Those are all things that we could maybe do in 2020, assuming that we sell the lots this year.
Okay.
Nancy?
Yeah, and I was at the Park and Rec Commission meeting last month, hearing the discussion and concerns of a couple of the commission members about our existing parkland and that, we're unique as Crystal to have so much. And a couple voices of concern about selling all of our property to build homes. And we were trying to reassure them that's not what the plan is. And I just wanted to reiterate that we have 27 parks. And could you just remind people about how much land is ideal and how much we have?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I apologize, I skipped that slide, but it's at the bottom of this slide. Even after the subdivision of the 3 lots at the west end, the remaining park would still have 3.1 acres of land. And I don't think that even includes the to-be-vacated Sioux Line Place right-of-way. That might add another half acre or so. So, which is roughly double what the minimum is for a neighborhood park, 1.7 acres. So in terms of just the amount of land in this park, it is more than adequate for the needs of a neighborhood park based on our own master plan.
Oh, and then Julie, you,
Well,
Go ahead, Julie.
I was just thinking with New Hope rebuilding, and having like 31 or 32 homes coming in, is there any way to ask them to help fund some of the improvements too? Because the fact that I would think that a fair amount of their new homeowners might be using this park. I mean, has anybody?
Well, to be honest, we haven't asked them, but I'm
Probably
not
be a
sure.
big fat no, but
Well, and they are receiving park dedication funds from the development that's in their own staff report for the subdivision. But the land is city-owned to begin with, so I'm not, it's almost like a shell game, I'm not sure how those negotiations are between them and the developer, and it's really not anything that's any of our concern.
okay.
That is one of the things we did talk about with the Park Commission, though, at the Park Commission meeting, of, why are we providing the park? And I guess one case to be made for doing this is we're essentially, this whole thing is being prompted by New Hope developing
Right.
that adjacent property, and their developer is putting in the street and the water and sewer services. Now, we're going to pay per the unit cost for the sewer services, and we'll take care of the water services ourselves. But the street is being built by the developer. So in kind of a roundabout way, we're able to develop these lots. And then if we use some of that cash to improve that park, I think you could say in a roundabout way what you just described is actually kind of happening.
Okay.
Yep, we definitely have a benefit from that being built.
Oh, there's no question. I just thought if they're getting park dedication fees,
Yep,
I don't know how close their closest
right.
park is.
But they're not charging us back for the street, so that's
Right.
nice.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be there.
So, Brendan?
Was there any feedback from the letters that were mailed out to the residents in that area?
No, and frankly, I was surprised by that. We did one mailing before we did the soil borings and the survey, just to let people immediately adjacent, that would have like line of sight out their windows to see these stakes going up in the field, so they knew what was going on. That was only 6 houses. After the Park and Rec Commission meeting, we expanded that to all the properties on the south side of 52nd Avenue from Idaho all the way past Louisiana to the municipal boundary. So I'm going to go back to that first slide. So we sent a notification from this house all the way to this house here, a total of 20. I did not get a single phone call or email.
Wow.
And that went out over 2 weeks ago now.
Nancy?
and John, could you go back to the rationale slide? I think about the selling of that one right there. On the second bullet point, you said approximately 150,000 net proceeds. If we sell the lots to builders in the same way, somewhat less if we sell the lots to SVK. So I just wanted to throw it out there that I would prefer we try to sell it or open it up to other potential sellers if we got more money, or, then more goes back into that park potentially.
And I glossed over that, I apologize. In the work session, I talked about this is something to be discussed later. Well, later is now. So since then, staff has come to the conclusion that we should just go ahead and plat this land the way we want it.
Yes.
Lay out the lots the way we want them laid out. And then we could ask SVK if they wanted to make an offer, and if we feel it's fair, because they want site control, so the homes there complement the homes they're building, as long as Bristol gets the same amount of money, maybe it won't matter to the council, whether it's them or some other builder. But you may want to put it out there in a competitive process, and then SVK could make offers against anybody else that would offer for the lots. We're still not quite at that point yet. At this point, we just want the authorization to proceed with, to get the platting process started and get those lots created. And at that point, then, at some point in that process, we'll probably talk to SPK and just take their temperature and come back to you with some more information, and then ask you to decide how you want us to market the lots.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually have some preconceived ideas as how I'd like to do it. There's a lot of lots there, and as far as them having site control, it has no priority. I think we would give our own lots a priority over theirs. So when we go through that process, I think we can have that conversation too. So, all right, anything else? Wow.
Sorry,
Brendan.
So I just was reading that line. You said that the funds could be used for improvements at Iron Horse. Are they? I think of could, would, shall.
Sure.
Those things stick out to me. I would like those funds to be used for Iron Horse, especially since the park fund is low, right? As far as this, not even on the master plan, as far as even being addressed, right?
So, yeah, actually, that,
It is.
I deliberately use that word because that's not staff's call, but that's certainly what you said is justifiable, course of action. The council would need to take action to amend the capital improvements program to add improvements to Iron Horse Park. At that time, we would have estimated costs. We would know more about, and we'd also, perhaps by that time, have sold the lots so we know how much revenue we have to work with. So at this point, it's kind of unknown, but certainly the council could, at that point when we know both how much revenue we got and what the estimated costs of these improvements are, say, all right, we want to amend the capital improvements program to add these improvements at Iron Horse, these specific improvements with these specific costs in, say, the year 2020. And that would be a decision that you'd probably make later this year.
Go ahead, Nancy. I think you
Just
have.
one last question. When we sell lots, we normally have a park fund fee, right? Or like $1,000 that goes towards a park fund. Is that included with the sale of these?
So we have not been doing that because it's kind of that shell game I was talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
For every dollar, if we say, oh, there's a $1,000 park dedication fee and the builder has to pay that to us, well, actually, we're the subdivider, so we would be paying ourselves, and then it would go into the park fund. So we may as well just not charge it because that
Yeah.
money then still goes into the park fund.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
So, point of clarification for me, the park master plan, it did have Iron Horse on there, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But it just wasn't part of the,
5-year out.
it wasn't
Yeah.
in our reach.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Looking for a motion on this if all the questions are answered. Nancy?
Yep, I'm ready to make a motion
Go
to adopt, or to resolution determining certain lands to be surplus and initiating the replatting and land sale process.
Thank you. Julie?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, a lot of good questions on that one. Next, we have Kim Terrace here to talk to us about a labor agreement. Could you fill us in on what's been going on?
Sure. So before you tonight, you have the local 49, which is our Public Works employees labor contract. It is a 2-year contract. This is, the other contracts as well as the non-represented were settled in late 2018. So this is our last one for the next 2 years. It covers 2019 as well as 2020. Yeah. It is consistent with the other groups. It calls for similar wage adjustments as well as insurance. And then we also made a few language changes, clarified language for working out a classification, as well as removed some language related to extra pay for welding. And there are sufficient funds within the 2019 and the 2020 proposed concept budget for these wage and benefit adjustments. Do you have any other questions?
Questions from the council? No questions.
Okay.
All right, looking for a motion then on this item.
Oh, I do have one other thing. The contract was approved and signed by the unions.
Okay, awesome. Brendan?
Yes, I go ahead. I motion that the approval of the 2019-2020 labor agreement with the International Union Operators and Engineers, Local 49.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second? Olga?
I'll second that motion.
All right, all members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
You know, I just have a quick question about Public Works. They've been working so hard, and I was just wondering if their overtime budget has to be just through the roof, doesn't it?
It's going to be noticeable.
It's going to be a
It'll be
conversation.
noticeable.
Yeah, well, I mean, as with all cities, but,
Right.
oh, I
Yep.
just, I feel
Yep.
they sure have done a nice job,
Yeah,
and I
they
just
have been really,
want to thank them
working.
for
yep.
all the work they do.
I think we have all of our sidewalk machines back.
Oh, no,
Not no more?
There, one went back down?
yes,
Oh.
I believe that's right.
Okay.
They might be a backup and running.
But they look good. I've seen them out. They-
Yep,
have
yep, they
been
have
out.
been out there.
Well, we had 2 out for a while then. That's good. All right. We do have some announcements. Bowling for Canine Officer Leo fundraiser is Saturday, March 10th, and that will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at New Hope Bowl, and there will be a lunch following at the VFW. The Crystal City Council will hold a work session Thursday, March 14th at 6:30 p.m. in Conference Room A. Cheers to Crystal, a Crystal Fund for Community Progress fundraiser for the Becker Park Playground is Friday, March 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Community Center. More information and tickets are available at cheerstocrystal.com. And then the next City Council meeting is Tuesday, March 19th at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. Crystal Business Association will be Wednesday, March 20th at 8:30 a.m. in the community room, and I will be presenting the 2019 State of the City. And then Environmental Quality Commission is hosting a University of Minnesota Bee Squad presentation, Helping People Help Bees, and that's going to be Thursday, March 21st at 7 p.m. at the Crystal Community Center. And local organizations are invited to help with the Pledge of Allegiance, lead them. Those are Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, or school groups. Contact staff for more information on that. And are there any other announcements? Nothing?
Just, if I could, just a comment. I attended the Empty Bowls fundraiser before council meeting tonight, and they were hoping to reach $20,000 in donations, and by the looks of all the people there, I think they're going to easily raise that tonight. So just wanted to thank them for that and congratulate them, and let people know who couldn't make it tonight, but that still may want to help them out and donate for food shelves. They could visit emptybowlsrobbinsdale.org.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Oh, and that's the cool bowl I got tonight from my computer.
All right. Reminder to everyone that if you do want to come to any of the Crystal Council meetings or work sessions, they are open to the public. They are also available online for your listening or viewing pleasure. Anything else? Last call. All right, looking for a motion for adjournment? Julie.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second
Thanks
that.
for watching out for her. Thanks, Olga. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Have a great week.